my age, it gets more and more difficult to get out of bed in the morning. It doesn't matter who you are, the wiry old King Herod of Judea or an old slave, the operative word is old. My bones ache and some things don't work as well as they used to. And what am I to do when I can't get out of bed at all? With no children? So being looked after when I can no longer look after myself will fall to Elizabeth, my wife, and lovely as she is, she's no longer a spring chicken. And of course, it may be that I'll be looking after her, not the other way round. Well, perhaps we are past the age of having children. Actually, we're well past the age of having children. So difficult to accept. When we were young, our hearts were set on having a family, but things don't always go the way you want, do they? Still, we keep the faith and we move on. Both of us are heavily involved in the religious life of the community, not least because we share a common ancestor, Aaron, somewhere in the distance of time was Aaron. Consequently, I'm a priest. I am, along with 20,000 others. And I'm on call in Abijah's priestly team. We do a duty for a week, once every 6 months, and we have a rota to sort things out. The task you're assigned to in your rota is something of a lottery because the team is so large, you see. So we rarely do the same thing twice. And this is my duty to God, and Elizabeth supports me, and together we try our best to keep all the laws and all the customs. I just want to tell you, see, about the day that I lost my voice. I had been selected to burn the incense in the hall of the priests, alone in the temple. A plum job. It was a once-in-a-lifetime chance for a priest like me. There weren't many in the temple praying. When I went up to the altar and began the task. Then, and I promise you this is true, suddenly the angel Gabriel introduced himself, as real as you are to me, standing on the right-hand side of that altar. I know what you're thinking. I can tell you it's a shock to your system when you see an angel, especially when your system, like mine, is not so young. Panic not, said the angel. It was like telling someone not to fall out of a tree when they were already falling out of a tree. I couldn't do anything about it. I was panicking. You know all that praying for a child you've been doing, he said to me. I nodded. Well, congratulations, Zechariah, he said. You and a lot of other people are going to be having a big party because you are going to be the father of a boy called John. Seeing an angel, shock number one. Me being the father at my age, shock number two. My knees buckled under the thought. You and Elizabeth are both really going to enjoy bringing him up. Elizabeth! And he'll be filled with God's Spirit right from the word go. And what's more, he said, I want you to ensure he keeps sober. No wine, no strong drink, okay? I was on my knees. I looked up at him. I smiled kind of limply, as one might do, and I wondered whether this was just indigestion. Was this a vision? I suppose it was really, but the angel continued. He's going to be like Elijah, he said. Elijah, I replied weakly. How's he going to be like Elijah? I was afraid of another shock. He will be bringing many people back to the Lord, said the angel. He will be a herald. I remember the word. Preparing people for God, and he will connect parents with their children and cover the lawless back to proper living, and he will walk full of God's Spirit. It was all too much to me. I thought somewhere along the line, one of my mates was playing a game. I don't know how he was doing it. Now, just wait a minute, I said, just hold on, this is a joke, isn't it? There is someone on my team pulling my leg in a big way here. And even if it's not a joke, you must surely know that A, I'm an old man, and B, there is no way at her age, my wife out there, Elizabeth, is going to be able to have children. I think you've messed up and got the wrong bloke. Do you know, in retrospect, that wasn't the best thing for me to have said, but I just couldn't believe it, you see. The angel Gabriel was not happy. Look at me, he said. I am Gabriel, an angel from God sent specifically to you, Zechariah, to tell you this fantastic news. I stared hard with my best blurred vision. It was pretty obvious that this wasn't another priest who had sneaked round the back, and by all accounts, Gabriel was a leader among the angels. I should have been more careful. I'm not used to people being quite so sceptical, says Gabriel, rising to his full height. I'm still on my knees. You'll not be saying anything else now until the baby is born, which will happen as I have described, whatever you personally can't believe. And I was about to protest, but realised it was a done deal when nothing came out of my mouth. I have to say that what I've just told you is an outline of what happened. When I got outside the hall of the priest, I realised I'd been in there a long time and people were asking if I was still okay. Of course I wasn't, and I spent a few minutes trying to tell them what had happened. Some said I was ill, but others realised I'd seen a vision, though trying to mime the name Gabriel was really quite difficult. Well, you know the rest. It's history. It's in the book. I finished the week in the temple and went home, where I spent more time trying to explain to Elizabeth what had happened and what had been said. Just stop me complaining about my age, because not long after that we were both much more like spring chickens. Blow me down, if Elizabeth didn't get pregnant. She spent 5 months of it at home and was over the moon with the prospect of being a mother at last. She rightly put it all down to God's doing. I know she was particularly glad to move out of the group of women, sadly seen as useless by some in our society because they were childless. I just wanted, that sounds silly, I know, but I just wanted to shout for joy. I wanted to praise God as loudly as possible. But of course, I couldn't. Well, there we are. That's my story.